Hi, welcome back to Sad Girl Energy. I'm your host, Bria, and this is the podcast where we are guiding you to your peak level of mental, physical, and emotional hotness. And I've got to say, I do think I have reached a new level of hotness because as of today, I am fully vaccinated. And I just want to take a minute to thank Dolly Parton and science. All of it. All science, all girl boss women in STEM. I applaud you. I thank you. And I owe you my life, I think, at this point. It feels so good. I basically exited the vaccination center and I was like, someone spit in my mouth. Please spit in my mouth, just mouth open, get your saliva, your unidentified DNA, get it in my mouth, spit in my mouth. I'm very grateful for Pfizer today. I finally am starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is exciting and scary because now I'm realizing that I need to try and take all the lessons I've learned during this period and implement them into real life as society reopens and balance that with a career and spending enough time with my friends and family and taking care of myself. That all seems very overwhelming. So I'm kind of just going to ignore it. Today is not the day. Today is a day for celebration. Today is a day to think about all the disgusting things I'm going to do 2 weeks from now when all of these antibodies kick in and my DNA has been altered for the better by modern science. If you're able to get vaccinated, do it. Do it so you can apply to be one of the people who will spit in my mouth. If that's appealing, get vaccinated. I know it's obviously harder than just getting vaccinated because this country has made it akin to trying to get a Telfar bag, which is a niche reference, yes. I just feel a little pep in my step. And you know what? In a week, I will probably forget this feeling and feel like shit and be back in my state of dread, but just gonna inject this feeling forever and just live with this high while I can. That brings me to our self-care tip of the week. This week's self-care tip of the week is one that allows you to indulge your sadness. I feel like this is one we haven't talked about enough, right? We're trying to combat sadness, yes, but sometimes we're trying to indulge sadness. Sometimes we're just trying to chill with sadness. Sometimes us and sadness are vibing and we just want to hang for a while. We know that sadness will leave and we're cool with that, but sometimes you have to watch a movie that you know is going to make you cry. I'm talking Moonstruck, I'm talking Steel Magnolias, I'm talking The Family Stone. Sometimes you just got to sit through something you know is going to fuck you up emotionally just to let it out. And so that is what this week's self-care tip of the week is. It's one that will just allow you to let it out. Go lay outside in the rain. Do it fully clothed. I mean, you could do it naked if that's your deal. I don't know how I feel about laying down in the grass naked. I would just be afraid that somehow a bug would get into my coochie. I don't know. Honestly, my hole. I think hole is more likely because the hole would have direct contact with the ground. So I don't know. I would wear underwear. I'm a big pro underwear person. All my friends make fun of me. When I moved to Europe, I literally packed 40 pairs of underwear with me. When I backpacked through Europe, I had a whole bag that was just underwear. Everyone thought I was insane, but I like underwear. They make me feel comfortable. I feel safe and secure in underwear. If you're someone who can just like wear a flowy dress with no underwear, honestly, I admire that. I admire that level of freedom and that level of comfortability. Unfortunately, that is not me. My level of anxiety that I have in life is one which underwear is just not optional, right? Also, because I have anxiety, my stomach always hurts. And even though it doesn't happen, I'm constantly afraid that I'm going to shit my pants. Truly, every day I wake up with the fear that I may shit my pants. It hasn't happened yet, but it still could. It's never too late in life to shit your pants. And that is something that I am trying to avoid in terms of being more embarrassing than it already would be. Like, I do think that everyone in life should probably shit their pants once, just to have that experience, just to gain that level of empathy. But also, I don't want to do it when I'm wearing a cute outfit. So I'm pro underwear. Wait, how did I even get here? What was I talking about? Oh, okay. That was such a tangent, and I'm sorry, but also I'm not. I don't know how I feel about laying down in the grass naked and just letting the rain wash over me like a Hilary Duff song. That era of Hilary Duff, also amazing. We did not fully appreciate it as we should have at that point. And I think in retrospect, we all feel bad about that, but we can't go back and change it. So hopefully she releases new music in the future and we can give it the love and respect it deserves. So I am personally in favor of the more dramatic approach. And to me, the more dramatic approach is going outside fully clothed. I'm talking hoodie, sweatpants, socks, laying down in the rain and just, screaming if you have to, or maybe meditating if that's what works for you, or maybe just having zero thoughts. The choice is truly yours. Open to whatever you think will suit you best, and just laying in the rain, just going outside, feeling the ground, experiencing dirt, experiencing discomfort. You might catch a cold after this. I don't really know for sure, but it's dramatic and it's cinematic and cinematic. What's another attic? I literally have to Google words that end in attic. It is dramatic, cinematic, and unproblematic. That is my self-care tip of the week. I did this. I didn't lay in the rain. I just stood in the rain, but I have just had obviously a very busy week. All positive, good things, but I am not used to this, and I'm kind of struggling with the fact that I don't really have a schedule right now. Just by nature of what I do, some weeks are very busy and then other weeks are very slow, and constantly switching between those two modes is difficult at times, and it takes a lot of patience and adjustment, and it takes a lot of planning, which I'm capable of doing, but I'm also kind of tired of doing it. And it's also hard because, I have had to really think and be like, oh my God, a year and a half of my life and my career was really put on hold. And it's not like I didn't do things. I did do things. I got to do some cool things, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities I had, but I literally didn't regularly perform stand-up for a year and a half. And that feels like a huge blow. So I'm kind of in this constant state of worry about my career and this constant state of panic. Like, I know what I want to do, but how am I going to do it? How am I going to get there? Am I going to be successful? Am I going to fail? And if I fail, what will people think? But it's also like, I have to realize people don't care about me. People don't think about what I'm doing. They don't care if I'm successful or if I fail. But yeah, I've just had a lot of anxiety and fear about my career and, accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and my age and how long it's going to take and what I should do next, what the next move is. And so, one day I just went into my back alley and I stood in the rain, and everyone that walked by looked at me like I was insane, but I was like, I am fucking free, okay? I am like a girl in a Lana Del Rey music video. I just feel like every girl in a Lana Del Rey music video looks like she escaped a cult. The feelings of career-related anxiety and existential dread are definitely high this week. Hopefully you're not experiencing it. Hopefully you have a stable career and you feel really good about your job. But also, I would say we exist within capitalism, and capitalism makes it so that that feeling is very difficult, if not impossible, to not only attain but maintain, because we're all being exploited. And I know I say that a lot, but I am trying to radicalize any people who are not already communist to become communist. So maybe that's my cult. My cult is hot girls who podcast and want you to become communist. Communist hot girl podcasters. That's my new brand. I actually am working on something right now, and I was getting feedback for it, and I got some amazing feedback and I was really excited. And the person that was giving me this feedback was like, yeah, I just feel like this perfectly captures your comedic voice, like your brand. And it took everything in my power to not be like, wait, what's my brand? Because like I've been trying to figure it out for so long and I have no idea. I was like, can you tell me what my brand is? Because I'm struggling with that one. And mostly because I don't want to brand myself. Because I'm a human being and it feels weird to do. It feels weird to be like, this is my brand that I'm going to sell you. What am I selling? What am I selling? Jokes about my period? Tweets about my ex? I don't know what I'm selling. Thoughty Instagram posts, like if I could make money off of all of those things though, I would. And I know that that's my inherent contradiction in my hatred of capitalism, but I would say that I guess I would let capitalism exploit me because I'm aware of my exploitation. And if I'm aware of my own exploitation, then I am in control. And these are the lies that neoliberalism and capitalism do teach you. That's really truly a huge philosophical debate that I have not prepared to have. So instead, I am going to move on to talking about how I went to a patio finally, like the basic white bitch that I am. I went to a patio. Patios are back open in Ontario. Dining has been shut down for like 6 or 7 months. I honestly can't even remember at this point. Like, the last time I went on a patio, it was the middle of winter. That's how desperate we were. That's how deprived we were. That's how bad it was here, that we were all like, yes, November, I will sit on a patio with my friends in my winter jacket and gloves and 2 pairs of pants and 3 pairs of socks just so I can enjoy a cocktail and feel something. Like, that is a level of psychological torture that I don't think we're ever gonna get over. But I'm slowly reintegrating myself into society, and it is hard. It is weird, and I definitely notice myself struggling. I feel like at this point, I'm trying to build stamina, right? Like, I'm training, because when I'm hanging out, obviously outside with people, I can last until about midnight, and then I really start to fade, and then I'm really like, this is too much. I need to go home immediately. So I do feel like I'm training for a marathon, but instead of running, it's just my ability to be surrounded by other people. And I'm reaching my social max some days. Some days I'm like, okay, this is enough. I have socialized enough. I need to leave and be alone and sit in the dark with no sounds for 3 hours to calm down. Like when I see people, for example, on Friday when I went to a patio, it took me 3 hours to fall asleep when I got home because my adrenaline was pumping. I have not been used to doing that. And I haven't been used to like going out and eating and having a couple of drinks with friends. So my body felt like it had just been on a roller coaster. My body was like, we have not done this in a while. But I do believe that in time, by the end of the summer, I'll be able to get to that next level, you know? Staying out until the bar closes. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for everyone. I want you to be able to safely stay out till the bar closes and have fun and not Irish exit into an Uber and cry. You know, there's a couple more phases until I get there. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when I go inside a club or a bar for the first time. I don't know how long I'm going to last. And then I think after doing that for a bit, I'll be able to, you know, build up to that all night party, but I'm not there yet. Right now, I think if I went to a party, I would have to escape to the bathroom once every 25 minutes to calm myself down / I don't know, scroll through Twitter and laugh to myself while I'm sitting on the toilet pretending to go pee. Like, I do miss that moment. I miss that moment in a party where you're kind of avoiding everyone. I miss the feeling of hating people because you're around them all the time. So you're like, I don't want to be around anyone. I want to be by myself. I feel like that feeling's there, but it's also partially dissipated because some days I'm like, I cannot be alone. I need to see my friends. I think our brains all need to be rewired. I would love it if they could just like U2 style drop via the cloud socialization techniques into our brains and rewire us. Like, I know we're not at that level technologically, but it would be sick if we were. I also feel myself getting irritated when people start talking about the pandemic sometimes. Like, sometimes I can do it and sometimes I do want to talk about the pandemic, but there have been a couple moments where people have been talking about it and they're not saying anything bad. I mean, the pandemic is bad, but it's not like they're saying something problematic and I'm irritated because of that. It's just like some days talking about it feels like revisiting a traumatic event, because it is that. It feels like I'm at the scene of the crime and I just find myself internally getting so annoyed and I'm like, I need to stop that. Like, I need to allow people to talk about it if they need to talk about it or if they want to talk about it. Who am I to dictate that? But also some days I'm just like, I get agitated and fidgety and irritated and a little bit like, I kind of tune out the conversation just because I can't do it. I can't have it. I can't think about it. And that's like all on me. Like, that's work I need to do. I recognize that, but I am still going to complain about it. This is a thing that I thought about this week in the shower. I know I did that last episode, and sometimes I have my best thoughts in the shower. Sometimes I write my best jokes in the shower. So I did want to talk about the fact that I don't like people who make the fact that they like pizza their entire personality. Like, it's too much for me. I just can't do it. I can't get behind it. I love pizza. I'm Italian, and you know, it's embarrassing. Honestly, at this point, being Italian is embarrassing. Bread is my favorite food group. Those people give me the same energy as people who own mugs that say, don't talk to me before I've had my morning coffee. And it's just not a personality trait. It's just not a personality trait to like pizza, because it's like, who doesn't like pizza? Like, that's not a defining quality. Like, show me one person who's like, I hate pizza. I don't believe they exist, okay? Similar to male feminists, I believe that is a conspiracy. I don't think that liking pizza can be a defining personality trait because there are 7+ billion people in the world, and honestly, I'm pretty sure every single one of them likes pizza. So find something better, find something more unique, find something more interesting to base your personality off of. Unless it's having a ferret, because I also cannot support that. I have a couple friends who have become ferret people recently, and I just don't know what to do with it, so I simply choose to disengage. I feel like there's something going on there that's bigger than me that needs to be addressed with them within themselves. So I'm gonna let them go on that journey, and I'll support them from afar, but unfortunately, I cannot walk beside them for that. It's a little biblical reference, I think. I don't even know. Honestly, didn't read the Bible. I'm not into fiction. This week on TikTok taught me, number one, everyone is getting a BBL. If you didn't know what a BBL is, it's a Brazilian butt lift. It's a plastic surgery procedure that gives you a tiny waist and a fat ass. It is dominating my TikTok algorithm. And honestly, good for you. Like, the people that can do it, great. You look good. I just could not. Like, I have way too much trauma from my jaw surgery to ever have another procedure again, unless it's like something that's gonna like save my life. Obviously, I would rather have my flat ass than potentially have surgery related complications. And apparently BBLs are actually kind of dangerous. Again, not a doctor, but it sucks because, you know, boobs department, I feel okay. I feel confident. Butt department, no. I got a flat ass. I got my dad's flat fucking ass, and it's so unfair. So unfair. My mom really fucked me over in that genetic department. And like, honestly, that's why I don't believe in God, because if God was real, he would have given me my mom's ass, okay? And not my dad's flat, waspy ass. It is interesting that my TikTok algorithm is half body positivity, I would say, half, you know, women talking about feeling confident in your body, the idea of perfection and societal standards and how those affect women from a young age and how they affect our relationship with our bodies. And then the other half of my TikTok algorithm is BBL transformation videos. So I think that perfectly captures my own relationship with my body. Half of me is like, we are learning to love and accept our body and grow with it and thank it for everything it allows us to do. And the other half of me is like, I want every single plastic surgery imaginable. I want to have a forehead reduction. I want lip injections. I want a nose job. I want cool sculpting. I want a BBL. Again, this isn't an ideal society where there is no recovery time from surgery and you can just move on with your life right away with no pain and no complications, which I know doesn't exist. But again, we're talking about imaginaries here. So those are the two modes that my brain operates in, 50-50 split. But I will say that the BBL thing has left me, this BBL trend, I guess, has left me with a lot of questions, and this may be controversial to say, and I'm sorry if it is. I don't mean it in a controversial way. I don't think we've figured out body positivity completely, and I don't think we've figured out the nuance and the way to talk about bodies. I just don't think we're there yet, and I think that's okay. To me, it very much so feels like the conversation is still evolving, and I think that's good. I think with any movement, you will never reach an end point. You should always be changing and reassessing the way you're talking about things. I will say there's a lot that I've learned that I have like incorporated into my own life and my own approach to talking about bodies. But I will also say that there's still a lot that I experience with my own body and my own relationship with my body that I don't feel like I necessarily have the language to talk about yet. The BBL thing, I think, is part of that, because on the one hand, it's like whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you feel better about your body, do it. Like, you deserve to feel good about your body. But also, there's a lot of conversation about BBLs from a racial perspective, because a lot of people are talking about how the type of body that you are trying to achieve through a BBL is kind of fetishizing Black bodies and appropriating Black bodies, and Black women haven't received the same praise for their bodies. And so it's potentially problematic that white women and other women are like co-opting this form and being praised for the way they look, whereas Black women have been discriminated against or fetishized for their body, that same type of body. There's that. And then there's also this idea of, is it really body positivity or acceptance if we are trying to fit this societal standard for what a body should look like? And that's why I think we don't have it figured out, because I don't have an answer to that. And honestly, I'm not going to judge someone for, again, what they choose to do with their body. That is their choice. But BBLs are dangerous, and it's kind of sad I think it's worth noting that someone's potentially putting themselves in a really risky health and financial situation in order to better fit this societal standard for what a body should look like. And this standard is potentially co-opted from Black women. So there's a lot there. You wouldn't think it, but there is a lot there. There's a lot to discuss. Number 2, my TikTok algorithm thinks I care about bouldering and rock climbing, and I think that is hilarious. Look, I am becoming a nature queen. I am reacquainting myself with nature. I'm getting more comfortable in nature, but if I'm going to be in nature, I am going to be on the ground. I will not be climbing up the side of a mountain with a rope and someone I'm supposed to trust at the bottom. Like, no, thank you. That's not for me. I will stick to hiking and walking and swimming, but bouldering, no. No. Imagine me bouldering. Imagine me climbing up the side of the mountain. I had one rock climbing birthday party, and honestly, I hated the rock climbing part. I begged my mom to have a rock climbing birthday, obviously, classic me. And then once I was rock climbing, I was like, okay, this takes arm strength, which I don't have, and it involves physical activity, which I don't like. So I think this isn't for me. I think I did like one journey up and then down, and I was like, okay, I'm done, you guys can go up. TikTok is wrong about that part of my personality. Number 3, there's this new trend of TikTok is always filled with health trends, which is, again, kind of concerning, because it's like, what are the qualifications? What's the research people have done into this? But also, I often fall into TikTok health trends, and I have tried some of them, so you don't have to. And number 3, people drinking chia seed water. So if you don't know what chia seeds are, they're just these edible seeds, and they have lots of health benefits. They have lots of nutrients, low in calories. I think they're a source of protein as well. If you've ever had chia seed pudding, that's obviously what it is made of. And people are now sticking chia seeds in water and drinking it, and it looks disgusting. It looks like the vegan equivalent of when people drink raw eggs, because chia seeds have a weird consistency. They're like slimy, and they kind of look like mini eyeballs. So I don't know why people are doing this. Again, I'm sure there's some type of health benefit, but I can really only get behind healthy trends that actually taste good. Like, that's why I love expensive cold pressed juices, because they actually taste good. Or my stupid ginger and turmeric shots, love those. My matcha lattes, my golden milk lattes. Like, I love all that stuff because it actually tastes good. If you ask me to take a wheatgrass shot, no thank you. I don't want to taste the dirt. No, I'm not doing that. I don't care how good it will make my skin look. I only want to do things that I like, and I only want to eat things that taste good, and I don't care about anything else. I'm still at the point where I struggle with TikTok. I'm like, should I embrace this and actually really try to build my presence on this platform? Or should I delete the app and never open it again? I don't think I'm at the point to really make that decision yet. I kind of feel like I'm at the point of no return with TikTok, similar to how I feel about Instagram. It's like I kind of hate my relationship with this app, but also I don't know if I'm ever gonna delete it. Like, I don't think I'll ever delete my Instagram account. I might deactivate it for a while for my mental health, and honestly, I am not one of those people that steps away for social media when I'm at my worst point of mental health. That's probably a problem. If you're able to do that, good for you. You are well adjusted. For me, when my mental health is bad, I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend 8 hours on Instagram and make myself feel even worse. I feel like with TikTok, it's a similar type of thing. It's like, now that I've been sucked in, it's hard to get out. But also, you know what? If I'm like 40 years old, I'm definitely not going to be on TikTok when I'm 40. If I am on TikTok when I'm 40, something has seriously gone wrong for me. And, maybe one of you can replay this clip for me and kind of bring me back to reality if we ever get there. I hope we don't. But who am I to say that I'm better than potentially having a midlife crisis that lands me on TikTok until I'm in my 60s? Like, I don't know. Like, I know I'm gonna die with Twitter. Like, I know I will have Twitter until I am like 100 years old, because that platform, although it has ruined my life and my mental health, also brings me more joy than any other part of the internet, simply because it is so toxic. And I am addicted to the chaos and toxicity of Twitter. And that's not good. I know that, but also it's not something about me that's going to change. I'm a messy bitch who loves drama. And you know who said that? You know who said that originally? Anthony Jeselnik. My respect for Anthony Jeselnik increased exponentially when I heard him say that. I'm a messy bitch who loves drama. Twitter lately, honestly, the content has been too good. Like, there has been too much content that I get anxious and I have to exit. Like, Twitter's been so good lately, and by good I mean deranged, that sometimes I open the app and I'll read like 8 tweets that I really like in a row, and then I just have to close it because I'm like, this is overwhelming. This is too much. I can't do this. If I had to choose one social media platform to have for the rest of my life, it would be Twitter. Everything else I could jump ship on. Twitter, I could not. I could not give up Twitter. We're back with more from my Hinge matches. First of all, related to Hinge, a question I realized. At what point do you tell someone you're a stand-up comic? This is a question I have for myself and for other people. If you're a stand-up comic and you listen to this, let me know. Or if you're another person and you've ever dated a stand-up comic, which if that's the case, I am so genuinely sorry. At what point were you told they're a stand-up comic? If you dated, actually, this is the thing. If you dated a male stand-up comic, it's probably the first thing they said about themselves because they're trying to impress you. If you're dating a female stand-up comic, you might not even know because it's probably the last thing she will ever want to tell you about. I personally think the second you start following each other on social media will unfortunately be the time where you have to say it, unless you're planning on hiding your stories from them, at which point, queen move, boss move. Absolutely love that if that's your approach, because with me, I advertise a lot of the shows I'm doing on Instagram on my story, so they're gonna see it. So at that point I have to be like, by the way, I do stand up sometimes. Yes, I probably will write a joke about you. No, I won't ever let you hear it. I think that's the unfortunate point where you have to have that conversation. But if I could hide it from men forever, I would. I personally say on dating apps, when someone asks me what I do, I'm like, oh, I'm a writer. And then when they ask me what I write, I'd say different things. Or I say, I'm an actor. And they're like, oh, what type of stuff? I'm like, oh, you've never seen it, which you probably haven't. But we are back with more questions for my Hinge matches. This week's question was, What is your favorite multi-level marketing scheme? Aaron said his favorite MLM was Monat because they burned people's hair off, which kind of sadistic, kind of rude, but I would say that is a great MLM. And by great, I mean fucked up. Rob also said Monat because he was a victim of it. Rob purchased $350 worth of shampoo and then realized that it was a MLM. I felt bad when Rob told me that, but I also had to laugh because if men knew more about personal grooming and personal care and hygiene, then they would know that shampoo should never cost $350, right? So maybe you should have listened to your ex-girlfriend when she told you that you need to use something other than 3-in-1. Rob also said his second favorite was Arbonne, honorable mention. I like that he knew multiple MLMs. And then Michael said Avon. And then Michael asked me what my favorite MLM is, and I said crypto. And then he said that he recently took all of his money out of crypto and started investing in a mining company. So I blocked Michael. I will say I don't like that all the MLMs mentioned were female, typically feminine companies. And I don't think we talk enough about male MLMs, male-dominated MLMs. Like, I know there are women in crypto, but the only people we hear talking about crypto every single day are men. Like, women, we don't need to talk about Bitcoin every day. Like, we will survive if we don't talk about Bitcoin. In fact, we will thrive if we don't talk about Bitcoin. So I think that crypto is kind of a more male-dominated MLM. I would obviously say that any fantasy sports league is also an MLM. And I would also say that most CrossFit gyms are a MLM. Also an MLM, yeah. Dear Diary, my friend was recently telling me about her coworkers' dating problems, and I feel like I need to add a condition when I give advice, because if you ask me if you should date a guy or not, I will always say no. Because if I encourage you to date that man, that makes me morally responsible for any therapy costs you may incur as a result of dating that man, and I cannot be held liable or responsible for that. Also, I don't know why anyone ever asks me for advice about relationships or dating, because all of my relationships have failed. I guess that means I have some experience in the area, but it also means that I hate men even more than I did before I was in a relationship. I don't want to be too negative in this sacred space, so I'll just leave it at that. Love to you and me, Bria. That's our episode. Thank you so much for listening / watching. That's been Sad Girl Energy. I'm here to teach you about sad girl shit. Being sad is not a bad thing. The only thing that's bad is pretending like you're not sad or repressing your sadness. You deserve to feel, experience, and process your sadness, and you also deserve to be happy. So that's my motivational saying for the episode. And I'm not perfect. I'm probably gonna drool in the bathtub after this, but I'm still alive, so that's chill. It's actually not chill. It's not chill. Being alive right now isn't the best thing I've done. One could say it's the worst, but again, we're not trying to be super positive. We're trying to be like a simmering positive. We're trying to simmer at a level of positivity that is maintainable. okay? Because being positive all the time is toxic, just like being negative all the time is toxic. Life is about balance. And you know what? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. I genuinely love doing this. I'm going to be sincere at the end of every single one of these, because if you have gotten to this point in the episode and you've listened to it and you've, I don't know, maybe laughed, maybe enjoyed it, maybe shared it with a friend, maybe left a rating on iTunes, like, I genuinely appreciate that more than you'll ever know. I don't care if it's sappy, okay? I'm a bitch 95% of the time, so I feel like 5% of the time I do need to be sappy in order to maintain a level of humanness that people actually like. Okay? You gotta have a little bit of sugar in your coffee. Is that a saying? I don't know. I actually don't put any sugar in my coffee, so that's not accurate to me at all. If I were a coffee, I would be an iced nitro cold brew with a splash of oat milk, okay? That is my go-to order. I think that's what represents me as a coffee. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I always love hearing from you if you're someone who listens, and I hope you're doing okay. Things are looking, I don't want to say that things are looking up, because you might have a day where you're like, nah. I hope that you do some self-care, and I hope that you also do something chaotic that could end up being a great story one day. Until next time, thanks again. Okay, bye.